My name is Adam Rogers. Today is actually my day of retirement after 22.5 years with the United Nations system, mostly working in the field of communications. Started with the Capital Development Fund, went for the Bureau for External Relations and Advocacy as the Regional Communication Advisor for Europe based in Geneva, and started working with the UN Office for South-South Cooperation, and then back to UNDP as a South-South Cooperation Advisor. Throughout my many years at the UN, I've always supported South-South Cooperation. I've always sort of resonated with it as an important approach. In many ways, what the UN does is South-South cooperation. It's in our DNA in the many agencies, funds, and programs. But to define it and to articulate it as a particular movement is very important. It's hard to define in the sense of, is it an exchange of knowledge, is it an exchange of technology, resources, is it a richer country in an emerging market, funding, financing through the IBSA fund, for example, a developing country in Cabo Verde, or is it much more? So it's best to define South-South cooperation through examples. That's why this particular South-South Development Expo here in New York City unveiled Volume 2 of Good Practices in South-South Cooperation. And in this publication, the reader can look at over 100 different examples, and by looking through them, can get a taste of the wonderful and rich diversity of experiences in South-South cooperation and how that practice area is contributing to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. The Global South-South Development Expos have been happening every year now for 10 years. The first one took place here in New York in 2008, and now 10 years later we're back in New York. They're exciting venues on many different levels. From the real practical level of what is South-South cooperation, because South-South cooperation is really best defined through examples, practical, on-the-ground experiences. And here at this one, we have released to the UN Office for South-South Cooperation, together with UNDP and its partners, have released the Volume 2 of Good Practices in South-South and Triangular Cooperation.